Anyone can write a book, and they can put whatever they want on its pages. Anything. Used to be, we thought the world was flat.
Some people still do.
Yes, and they publish books about it. Or that the moon landing was a hoax. I believe there's also a book claims the world was created in 7 days. A bestseller, too.
You know, I definitely believe in a literal creation as articulated by the Bible. And actually, it's interesting because the Bible gives genealogies all the way back to Adam, the first man. And it talks about how old people were when they had their son, and then how old he was when he had his son, and all the way up to Jesus Christ. And obviously we know with a pretty good degree of accuracy how long ago Jesus was born. And so I've calculated, by going through and adding up all the numbers, I calculated the earth to be about 6,245 years old. And I believe that from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And I know that the mainstream view is that the earth is millions of years old, the universe is billions of years old, and you know, billions and billions of years ago there was this little speck and it exploded and all that, you know. And I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in evolution at all. I don't believe in an old earth, so-called, of millions and millions of years ago. And I don't believe in the Big Bang Theory. And I don't know if everybody even understands the Big Bang Theory, so let me just give it to you really quickly. Basically, the Big Bang Theory teaches that all of the observable universe that we can see right now was crammed into a dot that was smaller than a single proton. Basically, its mass was almost zero, okay? So it was such a small dot that it was so small that you couldn't even see it with the naked eye, smaller than a single proton, and that in 1/1,000,000,000,000th of a second, it expanded to the size of our current observable universe. Now, that defies all the laws of science, and you know, there are some laws out there that say that, you know, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. And then lately, they've been doing experiments where something went just a tiny bit faster, maybe, than the speed of light. But you know, that's pretty fast when you're traveling in a trillionth of a second, from smaller than a proton to being as large as the observable universe. To me, that's total nonsense. It's just people that are these really geeky people that are way too into like Star Trek and science fiction, and they believe this stuff, and it's bizarre to think. I mean, it defies all logic. It defies everything that comes into our senses and that we can observe, to think that something could go from being the size of a single proton. You could cram the whole universe into the size of a single proton. It's going to explode in not a trillionth of a second, a trillionth of a second. And then people think it's crazy that God created the earth in 6 literal days. You know, 6 days is a lot longer than a trillionth of a second. And so I don't believe in the Big Bang. It's a fairy tale. I don't believe in evolution. I don't believe in any of that. I believe the Bible's record. The Bible's filled with science, and there's no crazy science in the Bible. The Bible says that God hangs the earth on nothing. The Bible calls it the circle of the earth. The Bible is accurate with science. There's nothing in here that could be disproven by legitimate science.
I'm just curious.
Sure.
Do you homeschool your children? Will you teach your children about evolution so that they can answer questions about your beliefs?
No.
So wouldn't that like give you a little bit more perspective though? Because you obviously know a lot about it. So.
Well, I guess they probably have heard me talk about it. Like everything I just said to you, I'm sure they've heard me say that, and they've heard me talk about it in church, and they're going to get exposed to it, because I don't keep my children in a plastic bubble. So, I mean, they're definitely exposed to a lot of stuff. So I'm sure they're going to hear about it, but I'm not going to sit them down and teach them about evolution, because I frankly have better things to teach them about that's actually true. But I'm not going to make that a priority to teach my children that, you know. Because I just explained it in a couple minutes. I could probably explain it to them in a couple minutes. I probably don't need to go into like all the different dates and the, you know, the Homo sapien versus the Homo, you know, erectus or whatever, you know. I don't think that's really going to prepare them for life, you know, to know about that stuff. But yes.